Yeah, welcome everyone to the quarterfinal rounds of Gobate 2.0. Congratulations for making it this far. Now I would like to invite the Prime Minister to begin the debate. Here. I will highly encourage everyone to open up their camera if it's possible because it's going to be published on YouTube.
Should we open the camera?
Um,
I'm sorry, but we have connection issue. So to make our voice clear,
Okay, then
we we can't turn on our camera. Is it okay?
now I would like to invite the Prime Minister. You may open the debate.
okay, wait, let me set up the timer. If you would like to give POI, just unmute yourself. Well, I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. United States domination in Asia is out of hand. A lot of countries, even developing countries, are suffering and struggling to defeat domination from United States. We see that RCEP is one of the solutions that have some power that could defeat and even erasing the domination of United States in Asia. So that's why, as the government of the House, we would like to support the regional comprehensive economic partnership to achieve our goal here. Our goal here is clear. We would like to defeat the domination of United States in Asia, also provide easier way for every country in Asia to invest and increase their national income, also provide easier regulation for country in Asia, so even the developing country could compete even more in economical spectrum. Five point of mechanism here today. Firstly, we would like to make some regulation that could ease Asian countries to export and import to other countries by decreasing the taxes for this product. Secondly, we also would like to make regulation for this company from certain countries to expand their business in another country by following the rule of law in this country. For example, when a Chinese company would like to expand their business in Indonesia, so they should care about AMDAL and all regulation in Indonesia, so this company would not destroy the environment or even give more harm towards our country, Indonesia. Thirdly, we would like to make sure that at the moment certain countries expand their business in another country, this company will only take the human resources in this country. So they will like absorb the human resources in a certain country that they would like to expand their business on. The third is the rule of export and import. We would like to make some limits developed countries, for example, for maximal product that they should export. So there will be no domination among the Asian countries because in our status quo we found that a lot of domination from United States. So we would like so we would not this kind of problem also happen by supporting the RCEP itself. And then the first is we would like to make some regulation that when RCEP's member broke the rules, so RCEP still punish them. For example, when they broke the rules when they broke the AMDAL in Indonesia, for example, RCEP still could punish the certain country by following the rules in countries that they already broke, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see the piece in our status quo, ladies and gentlemen. In our status quo, we found that in Asia, there has been Asian MEA that's actually becoming one of solutions to provide better economical circumstances in Asia. But what we see as governments under the house, it is not really enough because it could not really give a significant impact towards the Asian country itself, ladies and gentlemen. We see from a low amount of export and import that is still on number 25%, not even more, ladies and gentlemen. We see that it is really problematic because the main job and the main goal for MEA is to increase the investment, to increase the income in Asian countries. But with what we found, it is not really give significant impact. So we would like to support the regional comprehensive economic partnership that we believe that it could ease the Asian countries in investing, even increasing their national income. Although, we also found a problem from United States domination in our Asian country, ladies and gentlemen. We see that a lot of product monopoly in Asia that coming from the product from United States, like for example iPhone and so on and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Although the monopoly from United States coming from the lifestyle that United States already become the trendsetter in even in Asia, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of trends are followed by are followed from United States itself, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to protect our Asian country to follow the lifestyle from the United States because it is just the form of domination from United States in our Asian country, ladies and gentlemen. Because we believe that how evil United States in Asia, ladies and gentlemen, they even increase the taxes of import and export for Asian countries for defeating the Chinese domination in United States, ladies and gentlemen. We found that it is really problematic for us as a developing country or even developed country in Asia because we could not compete with them even in our own regional, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why we would like to support the regional comprehensive economic partnership in defeating and erasing the domination of United States in Asia. Because we see that how suffering our Asian country that they could not even compete in their own regional, ladies and gentlemen, they still suffering on doing import and import because the high amount of taxes in Asia, in United States, ladies and gentlemen. So we would like to have um trading bloc that is RCEP that could protect us, that could cover us as an Asian country. That's all. And then moving on to the interest of every single stakeholders in this motion, we see that the interest of developed country and developing country um, they would like to increase their national income. Although they would like to erase the domination of United States in Asia, ladies and gentlemen, because we see that a lot of problems that coming from developed country and even the developing countries in Asia, ladies and gentlemen, developing countries even struggling on how they would like to export and import, but taxes is too high for them and they could not even afford this kind of taxes, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why their product could not even compete in other countries, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, and then also we believe that the RCP itself is as an East Asian region cooperation in economic sectors, we believe that there are a lot of members that have a superpower in this RCEP. For example, like China, New Zealand, Japan, and Korea. We believe that this kind of developed country that have a superpower in RCEP as a member of RCEP, they could cover us as a that could cover another developing country. So other developing countries could maximize their national income, could increase their national income, so there will be no domination from United States, and then they also could get benefits from this superpower country, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to prove to you why by supporting this motion would actually create better status quo for all stakeholders. Because of firstly, the RCEP, we believe that they could be a counter attack from the United States. As what I've stated before, that the United States already dominate trade in Asian country, in Asian regional, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why we believe that by supporting RCEP, it could be a counter attack from the United States because a lot of superpower members on them, ladies and gentlemen. And then also we believe that RCEP could cover the needed from the developing country, ladies and gentlemen, because of we also know that because of a lot of developed countries could cover the developing country, and then they could help each other, and then increase the Indonesia kerjasama among the Asian countries. Maybe that's all we are very proud to propose. Thank you.
I thank the Prime Minister for that speech. Now I would like to invite the leader of opposition to open the case of opposition team. Here, here.
Hi Kak, can we just turn off our camera because the school's Wi-Fi is so bad yesterday and 2 days. So, okay,
Sure.
okay. Wait a minute. Setting up my timer. Wait. Okay, starting my speech in three, two, one. Panels notice that the governments of the House really bring up the cases of U.S. Who get the nominations in the ASEAN regional, also in the Oceania Pacific, that make the U.S. dominate this regional, and saying that this is very urgent thing in this regional, and keep saying that their goal is to end the domination of US. But notice that they said that the product monopoly from the US in ASEAN regional is really big, and they forget to think about the motive of China to support and join this RCEP to backing up this kind of agreement. They keep talking about how they could erase the domination of US, but they forget that they are relying on the China's economic, which is end up with China's dominating the every country in the ASEAN. Well, at least when they are not joining the RCP, there's no domination from two superpower countries between the US and China, which can make a trade war become worsen, and it can impact our economy later. And also, notice that there's no step-by-step analysis from the Prime Minister to explain why by joining this RCP, the domination of US would be over, and they just giving an explain that by joining the RCP, it could erase the domination of the US, but they don't keep talking why and how and etc. So we as the opposition side of the House stands to not support the RCP, where the five members came from the members came from ASEAN country, which is majority of them still a developing country, plus five more countries who can we assume as a modern country like Japan, China, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. Three reasons why we shouldn't support this RCP. First, I'm going to tell you about the position of developing countries who are not that ready to join this kind of RCP. And second, I will bring up the idea of a monotone. And third, I will bring up the idea of the China's political interest or the domination of China in this trade agreement. First, I'm going to tell you, like, first positioning ourselves as a developing country in the ASEAN. We can realize that they're not that ready to join this RCP. Let's exclude Singapore. They're already enough. There's no guarantee that can prove why this developing country can compete in the RCEP and achieve the idea of mutually beneficial. Since we are know the parameter of the good economic partnership is a mutually beneficial, where each country interest is fulfilled, the export import is balanced, and there's no domination from the superpower country that can partially taking benefit from the smaller country. They just thinking about their interest, but they not thinking about the everybody interest, which happen like in the WTO, the World Trade Organization, that end up many countries loses their interest to stay in the WTO and keep up the trade there. We could see that there's no possibility for them to fully ready to participate in this kind of trade agreement. One thing, economy not just about selling some stuff and buying another one, but there's also many factors that can affect the economic system. Like nine of ASEAN's countries, excluding Singapore, are not even in the top 30 countries out of 144 countries in the world in the global competitive index. Like also looking at the competitiveness is really slow. Like why can I said that, like first looking in the ASEAN countries left, like the infrastructure is not that modern, it's not that good. The connectivity between its regional in the ASEAN is not that good, it's not that modern, compared to the other members like outside the ASEAN like Japan, China, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. Like also notice in the agreement in the RCP that the environment system and the like ketenagakerjaan, it's not been discussed yet in the RCP, where it can really risk us, also risk the developing country, which is end up the domination from the superpower country, which I will explain later in my argument. Like we're also seeing that the low level of human resources, which is really affect the economic system, where in this RCP, right, where the tariff imports and the export import is really lower than ever. And then there's a possibility that a multinational company can allocate their company to the developing country like Indonesia, Malaysia, or something like that. And of course, they need employee, but like notice that the education systems in the ASEAN is not that good. It's there's a low level of human resources, and we noticed that 95% of Indonesia's economic is based on the small and medium enterprises, which can harm the local product and the small medium enterprises, which is end up make some people lose their business or their company, and which end up affect the economy macroly. So second, I'm going to talk to you about the idea of the monotone. First, we all know that the geographical conditions in the ASEAN country, like they are the producer of like raw material like natural gas, wood, oil, gold, and etc. Like they're producing the same thing. So the possibility, like we take an example like Indonesia. There's there's no possibility that the China or Japan keep buying from the Indonesia. There's a possibility that they will buy from the Singapore, from the Myanmar, or any other country who produce the same thing. Like it's very monotone. It's just like the big country like Japan, China, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand buying the raw material in the developing country like Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. And they mengolah that material, they finish the material, and then like we all know that the finished material costs more than the raw material. And at the end of the day, the small country, the developing country will like cost more than ever. Like yeah, it just like very monotone. Just the same activities keep repeat in every time. The big country buy the raw material for the small country, and the small country will buy the finished material, which it's not good for the small country and developing country. Third, I'm going to talk to you about the China political interest. First, notice that the motive of China to join the RCEP. First, the important to China looks the RCEP is the important thing to end or fight the domination of US or the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And second, they want to strengthen their power and dominations in the ASEAN and Oceania. So, and the third, like it end up that we're rely on China. The governments of the house keep thinking about we could end up the domination of the US, but they don't thinking that they are like surrendering their country, they're surrendering their regional towards another superpower country, China. Like China's political interest not just about economy, but there's a political interest, not just economy, naturally about the economy. They want to like make this kind of agreement to end the domination of the US in this ASEAN region, right? So at the end of the day, we will rely on the China's economic, and at the end of the day, like we will, the China will dominating, like the import and the export tariff will be ruled by China. Well, like they said that there's a trade balance agreement in the RCP, but we don't think that will happen in our side of the house. So the government side of the house need to explain us why by joining this RCP, the domination of the US will be over, and how they can guarantee that by joining this RCP, there's no possibility that China will dominate this kind of agreement. So that's all from me, and we're proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thanks for that speech. Now I would like to call Deputy Prime Minister to continue the case of government here. Deputy Prime Minister, please confirm.
Hello.
Yep, time is yours.
Hello.
Yes, sure, Abidal,
If
you can
go
go.
on, you can just say that. My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Panels. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm second speaker from government side of the house. Before I jump to my argument, I have something to say rebuttal argument from opposite side of the house. The first speaker from opposite side of the house said that the motive of China is to do domination to a developing country in Asia. What we see here as a government team, those kind of domination will never happen because we have our mechanism that we would like to make sure some regulation that could erase that could help Asian country to do export and import to other country, and then we would like to make a regulation for those company from certain country to expand their business to another country by following the rule of the law in every single country that they're interested. And then we have a rule of export and import. They will make some limits to developing country to maximal product that will they export. So there will no domination among the ASEAN country. So this is why the first speaker from opposite side of the house didn't understand the mechanism that has been delivered by my first speaker. And then the idea of monotone. We have to know that for in Indonesia, we have many island in Indonesia, and then the geographic condition in every single island is different. Maybe there is same, maybe it's not very different, but we have to know that in every single island we have different ethnic and then different culture. It will make us different monotone, and it will make us become beragam in Indonesia.
Your eye.
No, thank you. So today I would like to, ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to show you why it's more, why it why it's really harm if we didn't support the LCEP itself. The first one is China will harm us because
Uh, I'm
us.
sorry.
How? China and United China will push more. Hello?
Yep, you got.
I'm sorry.
You
Harm that will happen if we didn't support harm that will happen if we didn't support LCEP in this case is China and USA keep harm us. Why? We have to know that China and USA right now it's fighting for a trade war, and then we have to know that a developing country didn't have enough power to stand in those kind of condition that between US and China. So this is why we see really problematic to support because of why if we join LCEP, I'm sorry, we have more power, or we have this kind of umbrella to protect us from the harm of trade war itself. And then I would like to I would like to extend again our mechanism to make it clear so that second speaker from opposite side of the house will understand our mechanism. The first mechanism that we would like to bring is we would like to make some regulation that could they could make easier way to ASEAN country to do export and import to each other country. And then the second is we also would like to make a regulation for those company from certain country to expand their business to another country by following the rule of the law in those countries. Uh, so there is no more so there is no more domination or mistreatment in developing country. And then the third is we would like to make sure that at the moment of the certain country expand their business, another country, those company will take the human resource in those countries. So it will increase the unemployment unemployment people in Indonesia. And then the fourth is rule of export and import. We will make sure that there is limits to developed country to to keep export the product to developing countries. So there is no more domination that will happen in ASEAN country. And then the last is we would like to make the rule that if the country broke the rule of the law in a certain country, they will get a punishment. So it will never happen again. So right, ladies and gentlemen, right now I'm sorry. Right now, I would like to show you why it's morally justifiable. We have to know that RCIP bring more benefit to ASEAN country. The first is we will help the developing country. In this case, if we support this motion, we can help developing country to become developed country. Why? Because of in this case, if we keep RCEP RCEP make easier way to every single country to do invest in every single country and export import. We see that this is really bring benefit to Indonesia, Malaysia, and Laos as a developing country. So we know that in Indonesia or Laos, they have many unemployment. So if we make an easier way to other country to invest in our country, we will take all of the unemployment to become a worker in those companies. So there is no more unemployment in that country. And then if we already do that, we can increase our national income, and then it will cover every single sector in our country. Uh, and then if we keep doing this, we can developing country can become a developed country because of this. And then we see that how it will, because every single member in RCIP itself have a superpower. For example, New Zealand, Japan, North Korea, and then China. They are superpower country. And then if we keep if we keep agree with this RCIP, it will bring more benefit to us. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Now let's call for the deputy leader of opposition. Here. Deputy leader of opposition, time is yours.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, I'm gonna start my speech in three, two, one. Okay, so first of all, the government side misunderstanding about our point that we said that this RCEP is a monotone. What we mean is Indonesia and Malaysia have, example like Indonesia and Malaysia have the same raw material. It means that at the end of the day, this RCEP country will produce the same material with the other country. Means that other country that having a better raw material will win in the export things. And also, I would like to give you a clarification that Indonesia not only rely on natural resources, but also 95% of Indonesia economic based on small medium entrepreneurs, means that our small medium entrepreneurs have uh, serious ancaman, means that it means that the moment we Indonesia sign this RCEP, other country that have a better entrepreneur could dominating our entrepreneurs in our country, because Indonesia small medium entrepreneurs lose when they compete with other entrepreneurs. And also next I will give response to the government that there's TPP members in this RCEP, such as Brunei Darussalam and also Singapore. It shows to you that the moment that RCEP making a regulations or appointment, and it is contradicting with the TPP regulations, and also this country will not accept it, and thinking that the TPP regulation is better than RCEP. I will notice that this RCEP is leading by the China, and this TPP is leading by the US itself. It means that there's already competition between these two organizations. It means that at the end of the day, there's a possibility that Singapore and Brunei Darussalam will think that this RCEP is not benefiting as much as the TPP itself. And also move the argument that, and also before I move to my argument, I would like to ask the government team that how that Indonesia could fix their export and import by joining RCEP. They didn't giving any step-by-step analysis that how the Indonesia could maximizing this RCEP regulations, because we know the RCEP itself not yet giving significant regulations through to other country, because this RCEP only providing opportunities. But at the end of the day, if Indonesia cannot use this opportunity, Indonesia will still left behind, and other country could have better export and import. Move to my argument, like first, there's no guarantee that each country could strong enough to compete. Take an example that Indonesia is the most stable economic for developing country, that they cannot compete in RCEP. Then how about the other country that
in the under Indonesia. The proof is Indonesia import are in the fourth position on Asians. Means that there's still three countries that having better import than us. It means that this three countries that having better import than us will have a bigger chance to keep to improve their import than Indonesia. And also the other proof is Indonesia export didn't show that they have power as producer within only in the third position under Singapore and Malaysia. It means that it is only giving accessibility to do export and import, but this Singapore and Malaysia have a bigger uh, chance that they will having a better export. I mean, like the other country will prefer to import from Singapore and Malaysia uh, uh, stuff because they having like uh, cheaper cheaper cost from Singapore and Malaysia compared than Indonesia. And second point that we need to analyze the reasons why India quit from RCEP. RCEP is not only detrimental to the country's economy, which is largely driven by small business group, but there is also kind of concerns of China's growing dominance in a region known as a provider of cheap goods. It means that at the end of the day, other country will prefer China stuff than other country because China will provide a cheaper stuff and also higher quality than other country because we know that China have as the one of the most greatest economic in the world. It means that China have a better technology, have a better human resources to maximizing this uh, bahan baku. And also India doesn't want its domestic markets to be flooded with China products which are known to be very cheap. Today, when we look around over the 7 years of RCEP negotiations, many things, including the global economic and trade scenario, have changed. We cannot ignore this change, so that the current RCEP agreement does not fully reflect the agreed basic principles underlying the RCEP. It means that the RCEP regulations could change anytime. It means that, like my previous speaker said, that there's a trade war between US and also China, and we do believe there's a politic interest by the China that there's a personal reason that they joined the RCEP that they could easily to access uh, the ingredients, the raw materials from this country that joined the RCEP. It means that it will make them easier uh, to compete with US. But the thing is, we don't want in our side, we don't want there's a two dominating country because they said that they want to stop the dominating of the US, but we didn't find any further explanation why we want to stop the US dominating and why then what is the profit if we stop the dominating of the US. And also the other reason that India quit is China forcibly pushed to sign the deal during the RCEP summit. But we could say that the Indonesia uh, and also India have the same characteristics. India having a better position in economic, and so and also we do believe that every country have different economic starting point and condition. It means that uh, it means that there's different interests of each country. I'm very proud to oppose.
I thank the typical rubber positions for that speech. Now I would like to invite the government whip to close the case of the government side of the house. Here.
Hello.
Yes, you're
My,
audible. You can continue.
um, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Panels, before I move on to my extension here, I would like to rebuttal about the opposition side of the House opinion about how Indonesia will do the export. Well, we have to know that the regulation is become easier and Indonesia have a lot of resource. So if we agree, make up we can make it easier for the regulation. That regulation will help Indonesia can do the export. Second is they said that the developing country are not ready because there are no possibility for them to compete, and also the competitiveness is really slow in Asian and ASEAN is not good. And they said that we have the educational problem. So here we are the government side of the house. Uh, think that the RCEP would be the solution of those kind of things and the solution to increase the uh, economic for the developing country in Asia. Okay. So moving on to my extension here is uh, why would uh, why would we like to support this? Because first we know that RCEP is a third of the world's gross domestic product and almost half of the world's population, will with the combined GDPs of China and India alone making up of the half of that. We know that RCEP is aimed to create integrated market with 16 countries, making it easier for products and service of each of these countries to be available across this region. So RCEP will increase the teamwork and relation between the members of RCEP itself, and also will increase the economic for the developing country and developed country in the Asian. And why? By supporting this, China will not dominate because uh, we know the RCEP will treat all of the members equally, and that's why there's no domination here. So China will not dominate because there will be the relation and also teamwork between each of each of the 16 country of the member of RCEP. And why supporting RCEP could erase the domination of US because we know that we will have the relation and the teamwork and in the increase of it because of RCEP between the increase of relation between the RCEP members, and also it would so because of that we will gain and also would follow our kind of lifestyle that will erase the domination of US from its economic side or from the economic, how they monopoly and how they embargo us by increasing the tariffs of export and import. And also, we would follow our own lifestyle, not depending on the kind of lifestyle of the U.S. The comparison here, if we are following our scan, if this we are following the scanner of our side here, we will have first we will have the better economic for all stakeholders, the increasement of export and import, and also product and service of each country of RCEP. That will increase our economic and also will create the teamwork between all members. Second is the counterattack for US. That's why we're here to defeat the domination of US in the economic and also in the lifestyle and also neutralize the domination of US. If we are following the opposition side of the House scenario, first is the superpower countries will harm us because we didn't support them. For example, China will give harm to us because we didn't support them in this RCEP thing, and also the domination will still exist, and USA will still dominate. So because of that, there will be no increasement for our economic side for the RCEP members, for the Asian members, and FTA members. So the assumption here, it's the opposition side thinks that China has the interest to dominate. China has the interest to dominate and also rule all the developing countries. But it is still okay because it's okay if China still dominate because why? We need to gain power first. So we will support them. We will follow their interests. We will follow the China scenario to gain our power first. Improving and so we can increase our economic first and gain power first. That's why it's okay to follow the China scenario. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Yep, thanks for that speech. Now I would like to invite the opposition with me here.
Check, I'm audible.
Yeah, sure, Arbo.
Okay, wait, setting my timer. Uh, Before I'm going to start my speech, I prefer for just unmute yourself, and my gender pronouns is he or him. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels notice that as the affirmative side of the house, they need to answer three questions that we as the opposition side of the house questioning their side. Firstly, why they choose this RCEP corporation, not other trade agreement? Like my first speaker and second speaker already said to you, there are already many trade agreements such as AFTA, MEA, and TPP in the very first place. So the government side of the house have to explain to us why they choose RCEP over the others. But I didn't hear any clear explanation what make this RCEP exclusive in their side of the house. And the second question is RCEP worth it in this era, especially on the pandemic situation, which we didn't hear anything from the government side of the house regarding what is this economic situation right now, especially on the pandemics, right? We believe that the pandemic situation makes the economic even more crisis more economic crisis in this current situations, right? So we believe that by joining this corporation didn't bring any significant impact. Significant impact for us as the developing country, right? And the third question is when you said that this corporation could make developing country even more developing and become developed country, right? But we didn't see any step-by-step analysis delivered by their second speaker and their third speaker, for example. At least you need to give us the proof that Indonesia and other developing country could keep up in this export and import competitions, right? We as the opposition side of the house already bring to you what is the reason of the Indonesia why they couldn't keep up in this competitions that I would like to explain in my argument. Firstly, move on to my rebuttals. Before I'm going to my argument, I want to point out the government side of the house cases that didn't have any good foundation and didn't know where they want to go and how they want to reach the goals, right? From the first speaker, they keep talking about domination in the US and the Asia, right? They said that RCP has the power to defeat US, right? But the thing is, if you say that this RCEP has the power to defeat US, it means that this China that create this corporation already giving this RCEP a political interest, right? Their political interest is to defeat US, just like your argument said, right? We believe that is a good characteristic of a good corporation is there is no domination and there is no political interest. There is no a single country there is no a single country interest, and they should bring mutual benefit to each country. But we believe that if there is a political interest in China to defeat US, we believe that there is no significant impact or there is no benefit for us as the developing country. And they also state they bring up the mechanism that make the China didn't dominate, such as they talk about the regulation about how expanding country is controlled, how export and import are controlled. But we believe that the fact in the status quo that this kind of regulations, such as the environment and the workers rules are not yet been talked and discussed in the very first place. Plus, let me tell you the characteristic of your mechanism. Your mechanism needs to be approved by all of the country of the members, right? We believe that there is the member of RCP that also joining also joining the TPP, right? The TPP is also have the political interest of the US, right? So if you make so many regulations from the RCP that would be overlapping each other with the regulation from the TPP, right? So this would make the countries just like Brunei and Singapore that also joining TPP would be even suffer more, right? This could prove to you that this country couldn't keep up in this RCP and didn't get any benefit at all. And the third rebuttal is they want to state to us that China domination is okay, right? But because they made the rules that make them treating member equally. But we notice that in this corporation, everybody's starting point is different. Just like my second speaker already said to you. What I mean by starting point is different. We know that the one who are really good at economic condition in this RCP is only China and no other. No one can beat China in this RCP economic conditions, right? So we believe that as the times goes by, China will be more dominating and didn't bring any benefit for us as developing country, ladies and gentlemen. And they state to us there is the benefit for us as developing country to increase our export and import, right? So my second speaker and my first speaker already state to you an example of India as an example, right? India quit RCP because they are afraid their domestic product will be lost with the China's product, right? This shows to you even if India as the third strongest economic condition in RCP didn't want that they predict that they will gain loss in the future, right? So how can you ensure we as the developing country that economic condition is economically backward from India would didn't suffer this kind of conditions too? We didn't hear any further explanation from the government side of the house. Moving on to my classes. I found one classes in this debate is whether or not RCP would end the domination of the US, in the US in the Asia, and would bring more peace, more economic stable in the Asian country. We believe that this RCP will not end the US domination and would create even more harm and problems in our status quo. Notice that the foundation of RCP is created by China in response of TPP and US political interest, right? So we believe that this RCP is already mixed by China's political interest in the very first place. It would make no sense, and it would make no good cooperation in the very first place. My first speaker already said to you what is the reason three reasons that we didn't have to support this RCP. That the first one is what is the position of the developing country that already my first speaker already explained to you that they are not ready. They are only rely on agriculture and export of raw material would gain loss if they buy fine product in the very first place. And the third one is the low human resources, right? And the second point is my second speaker already rebut their point of the monotone point that they rebut, right? We believe that we didn't mean that the monotone we mean is in one country, right? What we want to say is this is the monotone that from one country export to the other countries, right? If the two other if there is two other countries or even three or more countries that export something same, it will create a competition that is monotone, that would be harder for us as Indonesia as the country that rely on export to improve in the future, right? And my second speaker already bring to you the argument about India's, right? I didn't hear any responses from the government side of the house. From the first until third speaker, I didn't hear any explanation about a rebuttal from the India itself. So because of that, we are proud to oppose this motion. That's all from me. Thank you.
To conclude this debate from the side of opposition, I would like to invite opposition reply here. Opposition reply, you may
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so first of all, we have a few questions to the government team. Why RCEP, not other trade agreement? Why RCEP is better than other trade agreements such as AFTA, MEA, and etc. They didn't could they could not prove to us why RCEP will bring more benefit to Indonesia. Second is RCEP is worth it on this era, especially on the pandemic situation. But how? The government team must to answer these questions. And the last question is at least give to us proof that Indonesia or other developing country could keep up in export and import. And also next, I will tell you that they are not response to our case that the developing country that join RCEP are not ready. Uh, uh, in first, global competitive index is low. Second, the low level of competitiveness in technology and education. Third, low level of infrastructure connectivity. And the last, low level of human resources. It means that they have different they have different different economic starting point and conditions. But how RCEP could fulfill this all of the countries that joined RCEP interest and how they could make equal and fair regulations through this all country. And they they not give response related to India withdraw RCEP. The reason of why India quit from the RCEP. And also we want to give question that why US dominating is bad and why if China dominating is fine. What the benefit when China dominating for Indonesia? Because we do believe there's a political interest that we already explained to you, and there's we also tell to you there's a country that also joined RCEP, such as Brunei Darussalam and also Singapore. It means that there will be a clash between this TPP and also RCEP regulations, which we already explained to you. There's this TPP is led by the US and RCEP is led by the China itself. It means that how RCEP could could give a better regulations, because we do believe that there will be a contradicting and contradictive things and also problem um, with the regulation itself. And move to our argument that we already tell to you that Indonesia not only rely on natural resources, but also 90% of Indonesia economic based on small medium entrepreneurs. And we already tell to you, India and Indonesia have the same characteristic, and we need to consider the reason why India quit from the RCEP, because they afraid that their local product will lose when they compete with other countries such as China. Because why we need to consider why Indonesia need to aware and consider the Indian decisions, because of India have India in the third strongest economic in the world. It means that Indonesia are under India, right? It means that Indonesia need to consider their export and import, like their local product, their human resources. Can Indonesia compete with other country product, for example? And we do believe that we already giving you step by step analysis why we didn't agree with these motions. Like this RCEP only giving opportunity for us to having a better export and import, but the government side already failed to prove to us how Indonesia could keeping up and maximizing this RCEP, because we do believe that the moment Indonesia lose to compete from other country, Indonesia will stay left behind, and other country will keep become a better country, and they will having a better economic rather than Indonesia. I'm very proud to oppose.
And to close all the debates now, I would like to invite the government reply.
Hello, I'm audible. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're audible.
We start in 3, 2, 1. Panels, the oppositions of the House keep questioning why we are as the governments of the House keep choosing RCEP over the others agreement, ladies and gentlemen. But as what my first speaker already told you, that other agreement is not effective. We already proved to you and mentioned the idea on how MEA actually could not provide the interest of developed country or even the developing country. We already proved to you that MEA could not provide a better economical circumstances and even fulfill their main job as mayor, ladies and gentlemen. We already proved to you why we would like to choose RCEP over the others because the other solution is not effective and could not give significant impact to us as developed or even developing countries. And also, the oppositions of the House keep bringing on how Indonesia could not compete and how they could be keeping up in this motion. But what we are talking in this motion, we are not only talking about Indonesia, but we are also talking about other interests of other countries. We are also talking about how the interests of developed countries should be fighting for in this motion. We already proved to you that how the interests of developed countries they would like to defeat and increasing the domination of United States in Asia because they are also suffering from this condition, ladies and gentlemen. We already proved to you uh, that how our mechanism could actually satisfy both that actually could satisfy both countries, even the developed country or even more the developing country itself by our mechanism that could satisfy both countries, ladies and gentlemen. And then they also keep questioning on why China dominates on keep questioning us to prove why China dominating is okay and why US dominating is harmful. But since the very beginning, we already told you that China dominating uh, uh, at my first video already proved to you that China dominating is still okay because what our interest as developing countries to join RCEP is we would like to gain power to compete in this trade war, ladies and gentlemen, because we would like to engage in this trade war, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why we found that it is still okay, even if China interest is to dominate us, ladies and gentlemen. But what we have to prove to you that at the very beginning that this kind of domination actually will not access in our side of the house because we already proved to you this kind of regulation that could provide and satisfy both interest at the very beginning, and then also why United States dominating is harmful. We already brought to you the idea of product monopoly in Asia and how United States product actually dominate the product in Asia, and then also how you evil United States that even increase the taxes of import and export and even harming the developing country or even developed country in Asia. So that's why we already told you that this kind of dominating is actually clearly elaborated well in under our propositions under the House, ladies and gentlemen. And then also we already we already proved to you that since the very beginning that by supporting this motion actually could create better status quo for all stakeholders in this motion because under the idea of that RCEP could be counter attack for United States and also the RCEP could cover all the interests of the developed country and also the developing country in Asia, ladies and gentlemen. And then so that's why we would like to support this kind of motion, and then we are very proud to propose. Thank you.
Yep, thanks everyone for the debate. Now you may go back to the main hall and wait for the announcement in the main hall.